What's gross? This one's gross. That's what's gross. Ew. What do you mean ew?
Sticker. It's good.
I made it to a heart.
Yep.
You pretty
Wiggle
much
your
have
fingers.
to get,
Yeah, like this. Look it.
you have to get pretty far up in there.
Just go like.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is another Farmstead Financial Friday. And this is a good one too, I promise. Okay, so last week's episode we talked about what our grocery budget is here on our homestead for our family of 5. This week's topic is a good one. I've gotten a couple questions over on Instagram, so I thought that why not turn the camera on and do a whole video on it? So today's video is we're gonna discuss how much it cost us to raise our 2 baby goats that were bottle fed. And let me tell you, it's gonna shock you. So as you recall, back in March, our goat Fern had her babies. They're beautiful, we love them. They're, you know, overwhelming, but they're baby goats. What can you expect, right? They're almost 8, I think they're 8 weeks old today, actually. Anyway, she gave birth to 3. 1 was a stillborn, unfortunately. So then there's 2. Well, she took it pretty hard and just didn't want to feed them. So she didn't want to feed them, she didn't want to care for them. Unfortunately, it was a really terrible situation. They were basically kind of left for dead. So we had to bring them into the house. And for 6 weeks straight, they were in our house. Almost 24/7. We'd bring them outside for a couple hours during the day so they could play on grass, but they were bottle fed strictly. They'd been bottle fed between formula and her milk as well. But you know, that's how it is sometimes, right? So they have now been, the last 2 weeks, they've been outside from dawn to dusk, and it's been fantastic. And actually this weekend they're going to be moved outside into their stall. Now that we're warming up at nighttime and they're getting a little bit bigger and they can kind of defend themselves a little bit more, they don't need to be in my house anymore. But, okay, so I have my little list, my little notepad with all of my numbers of what it has cost us to bottle feed and raise these babies in 8 weeks. This is a total of cost within an 8-week time frame. So the first thing we're gonna start with is, if you remember, I just said Fern would not feed them. They need the colostrum the first, you know, little bit, the first couple hours. And I couldn't even, she wouldn't even let me milk her to get the colostrum, unfortunately. So right after she gave birth, like 2 hours later, she was not having it. I had to quickly run up to the feed store and pick up a bag of colostrum. Unfortunately, colostrum is really expensive and it's a really small bag. So the bag was a 700-gram bag. And it was $69.95, which is insane. Our bag is like 3/4 way gone. Like, it's actually insane. But they really need it. You know, it's one of those, you don't question it, you just buy it, right? So that was $69.95. And then on top of that, we had to buy bottles. So 2 bottles for the goats were $12.95 each, so $25.90. And then, of course, they don't like the nipples that come with it. The feed store did tell me that they find a lot of people say that they don't. So I purchased 2 additional nipples on the side, a different style one. The other style one kind of mimics more of a goat udder per se. So those were $1.95 each, and we picked up 2 because there was 2 bottles. And so then the colostrum was only for the first couple days. I think like 3 days, but then our feed store was closed. So we actually ended up giving them colostrum for 4 days. Which is fine. And then we ran to the feed store because Fern was still not giving us any milk, letting us milk her. It was a disaster. So we had to go back and pick up a bag of formula. Now, at this time, it seemed that everybody's goat in our area decided they didn't want to feed their babies because they were sold out of goat formula. But they did happen to have 1 bag of lamb formula left over in store, and the package was damaged, but the formula itself was still fine. So the feed store offered to sell it to me at a steep discount because of the fact that it was, you know, the package was damaged. And if you don't know, goat and the lamb formula can be switched. Like, you can intertwine those 2 specifically. So the formula retails for $100. It was like 99 something. But they sold it to us for $59 because of the package being damaged, which if it doesn't affect the product, I don't care what the package looks like personally. So we went ahead and scooped that up. And then we went over to the local home hardware and we actually just picked up a 5-gallon bucket, and they were I think like $6, so that we could store the formula in since the package was really damaged. So so the 5-gallon bucket kind of just, you know, helps keep it secure. You know, no one's gonna get into it, nothing's gonna get into it, we're not gonna spill it. It kind of keeps the formula, you know, better, right? So we picked up that, like I said, that was $6. And then of course, because we had to bring the baby goats in our house, we don't have a setup in our house to be able to house baby goats. That's just not a thing right now. So I went to Facebook Marketplace and we were able to find a playpen a couple roads over, which was such a big blessing, let me tell you. So we picked up the playpen for $25 off Facebook Marketplace, and then instead of buying bedding and having to change the bed, like the shavings in our house, I didn't really want to go through that. Someone recommended just to put some old towels down, so that's what we did. We put some towels in the bottom of the playpen, and then that way we could just, when they went outside, we washed the towels, you know, gave them a good cleaning, put fresh towels back in, obviously, right? So we didn't have to buy any bedding for them for inside, which is okay. But yeah, those were majority of our expenses. So we had the colostrum, we had the 2 bottles, the 2 additional nipples, the formula, the 5-gallon bucket, the playpen, and then I forgot another one right here, see? So I wrote it down. We also had to purchase a bag of feed. So the goat feed that we purchased is called Tank Topper. So we needed to buy a bag because they were starting to we wanted them to start transitioning into some pelleted food. So we picked up a bag of that to get them started so they would get some, you know, to get used. And the bag was $26.95 for that. So, so those expenses all add up, as you can imagine. I'm sure I'm missing something in here. Like, I'm sure there's some small expenses that I'm not thinking of. You could get real technical and like include the gas for the extra driving we had to do back and forth to the feed store multiple times for these items. I was not going that crazy for it, but like just the generic things that I had to go out of my way to purchase that we usually don't have on hand is what my concern was. So the grand total for all of those items was $272.36. That is how much it has cost us to raise these 2 baby goats for 8 weeks, which is crazy insane. But so that's what, like $135 a goat we have invested into the goats financially. So crazy when you think about it like that. I just thought that we would do this video talking about how much it actually costs, like realistically, in here in Southern Ontario to raise our baby goats with the fees that happened. Because when you see goats for sale and you see them for $200, $300, $400, you're like, oh, the goat birthed them, it shouldn't cost that much. This is why. Like, we're already at, they turn 8 weeks old today and we're already at $135 each goat that we have invested into them. So luckily they are outside now, like I said, so they're grazing more, you know, they drink 1 bottle a day now. We were fortunate that within, I think it was like week 2, Fern was letting us milk her more, so we were able to milk her and give the babies some of her milk too, which really helped with the formula costs, because I'm sure that that would have costed us more. We probably would have had to buy a second bag if we weren't supplementing with her milk. So that really helped the budget, and it's better for them anyway to have her milk. But anyway, friends, I just thought we'd share that so you have a general idea of what it costs to raise a baby goat when you have to bottle feed them in your house. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and like it. If you like our content or you're just nosy and you want to see what's going on, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, friends. And until next time, bye.